Hello everybody, welcome to EduChemy. I am Dimple Nankani and we will be dealing with the landforms formed by glaciers. Okay, so the topic for the discussion of the day is what are the landforms created by glacier? So first let's understand what is a glacier. What are the example? How does a glacier move? As it moves, how does it erode? So the thing that we would be covering in this lecture is the erosional landforms formed by the glacier. So let's first understand what is a glacier. A glacier is basically a huge mass of ice. Any huge mass of ice that moves slowly over the land is called as glacier. So it can be over a mountain, it can be over the large land. Okay, so there can be two major types of glacier. One major type is the continental ice sheets glacier. For example, you're in Antarctica, wherein the entire land is covered by the glacier. It's the continental glaciers or the continental ice sheet. This is one type. The second type of glacier is the alpine glaciers, okay, which are there in the mountainous areas. So you have your Alkapuri glacier, we have Gangotri glacier, which are there in the Himalayas, the Himalayan glaciers. That's an example of the mountain glacier. So what is a glacier? It's basically a huge mass of ice that moves slowly and acts as the agent of denudation. Okay, that's what a glacier is, and we've also seen some of the example. Here you can look at the glacier. So if this is the profile of the glacier, here what happens is as the glacier is moving, okay, it undergoes some of the erosional processes like plucking, like abrasion. Okay, so what is a glacier and what are the types of glacier? So when we know what are the types of glacier, we also know that as glacier moves, it erodes. How does it erode? Basically, there are two major forms of erosion caused by the glacier. The first type of glacial erosion is plucking, okay, and the other type of glacial erosion is abrasion. Okay, now how both of them are different? What is a plucking? Plucking is when you tear out pieces, when the pieces are teared out, and the other is abrasion, where there is polishing, scratching going on. So as the glacial move, it does erosion, and it does erosion in two forms. One form is plucking, the other is abrasion. Now what is plucking? You can visualize plucking by looking at this. Now look at this. As the glacier is moving, this is the glacier. Here it is the glacier. So as the glacier is moving, it does two things. One is plucking, wherein the individual piece of the rock was teared out, that you've plucked. When you pluck something, you tear out the individual pieces. And the other form of erosion is abrasion and polishing. This is the abrasion and polishing, whereas there is continuous erosion, continuous scratching, continuous polishing going on. So you can again look at this. What is plucking? What is abrasion? So plucking is where the individual piece is turned out. Okay, and then after the time it goes for abrasion. The abrasion wherein the glacier is trying to scratch the land surface, scratch and polish the land surface. So the erosional processes which are involved in the glaciers is plucking and abrasion. A quick look at what is a plucking and abrasion. So plucking is what happens in the plucking. In plucking, the glacier will freeze the joint and the beds of the underlying rock. Okay, so if this is the bedrock, okay, I will color it with brown. If this is the bedrock, okay, and the glacier is moving, so this glacier is moving. So what happened as the glacier is moving, it will freeze it will freeze. It will freeze the bed of the underlying rock. As it freezes the bed of the underlying rock, and then what happens? It tears out the piece. It has frozen, and as the glacier will move, it will tear out this piece, this red colored piece, which involves some bedrock also, and drags them with the movement. So here the glacier is basically jointing, freezing the bedrock, and it is moving as the glacier moves. This is what is called as plucking. What happens in the aberration is, in aberration, the glacier will scratch, polish, and scrape the bedrock. So if this is the bedrock, if this is the bedrock, then the glacier, as it moves, as the glacier moves, it will polish it like a sandpaper. When we are taking a furniture, we polish. So here the glacier will polish, scratch, and striate the valley floor with the frozen debris. So already there is certain debris in the glacier. There is certain debris. This debris will polish, scratch the bedrock. So basically two types of processes. One is the plucking, where the glacier freezes the joints and the beds of the underlying rock, okay, and tears out. This is tears out the individual blocks and drags them away. Whereas there is aberration. In aberration, the glacier will scratch, polish, scrape the valley floor with frozen debris, and it creates the marks. It creates the marks on the bed. They are called as the striation marks. So how do we know whether the area was under glacial or not? It is because this bedrock will have this striation marks. It will have this striation marks. So two processes of erosion, plucking and aberration. Now you understood what is a glacier. What are the types of a glacier, the continental and the alpine glacier. Some examples like of the alpine glacier can be Alkapuri, Gangotri glacier. From Gangotri or river Ganga comes, from Alkapuri or Alaknanda river comes. Now we've also understood the erosional processes done by the glacier. Now understand one thing, that how is the movement of the glacier. We already know that the rivers, they are very swift. They move fast in a fast manner. However, a glacial is a huge mass of ice. So huge mass of ice, it cannot move as fast as the river. So this glacier, the movement of the glacier is very slow, unlike the water. The movement is only few centimeters or few meters per day. So the movement is very slow. If this is the bedrock, this is the bedrock. If this is the glacier, the movement of the glacier is very slow. Few centimeters, few meters per year. Imagine just few centimeters per day. Just few centimeters per day. And how does the glacier move? What is that influences the movement of the glacier? It is the gravity. The gravity is the major player here. The main reason for the movement of the glacier is gravity. And because the glacier is moving under gravity, as it moves, it does two types of erosion. One is plucking, the other is aberration. Though the movement is very slow, the erosion is deep. Why? The reason that the erosion is deep, because it is very heavy. So erosion is tremendous because huge weight of ice is involved. And there are two types of erosional processes, the plucking and aberration. Now let's understand this. The plucking and aberration you've already seen. So what is a glacier? This is the form of the glacier. Okay. There are two types of erosion, the plucking and aberration. This is how plucking takes place, where the individual piece is frozen by the glacier and is dragged down. And as it drags down, this debris in the glacier polishes, scrapes the valley floor. Then let's understand where does plucking operates more and where does abrasion operates more. So generally you will see that the plucking is operational. Plucking is operational at the head wall. Okay, this is the bedrock. This is the bedrock. This is the glacier. This is the glacier. And this is the head wall. This is the head wall. So, plucking, this is the zone of plucking. So, plucking is generally seen along the head wall. Okay, like we know, the deep erosion, the vertical erosion by the river is at the steep. Similarly, the zone of plucking, wherein the individual pieces are frozen and teared out, is along the head wall. And as the glacier moves down, the slope of gravity, the abrasion, the polishing takes place. So this is the zone of abrasion. Okay, so abrasion is not exactly seen at the head wall. Abrasion and plucking both operate continuously, but plucking is more predominant in the head wall, whereas this is the zone of abrasion where the glacial is sliding down in the gravity. This is the entire profile of your glacier. Now what happens because of plucking and abrasion, different types of landforms are formed. One of the most famous landform is the cirque. Okay, so we've already seen the zone of plucking, we know the zone of abrasion. Now let's move on to understanding the land formed by the glacier. The landform that is formed by the glacier, the erosional landforms that are formed by the glacier because of plucking and erosions are, so one, the first erosional landform, a most common landform is cirque. The cirque is formed. Cirque is also known as CWM. It is also known as Kori. So this is a erosional landform. First erosional landform, Kori, CWM or cirque. The second erosional landform that we would be dealing is horn. This horn is also known as pyramidal peak. And the third erosional landform we would be dealing is the serrated ridges or arete. So what is serrated ridges, also known as arete? Another important erosional landforms which are very important are valleys. Like the valleys we have studied in rivers, there are valleys of glaciers also. So the valleys, that is the glacial valleys or troughs. This is the third erosional landform formed by the glacier. They are majorly of two types. Hanging valley is one, U-shaped valley is another. So what are the erosional landforms? The first erosional landform is the Kori, also known as CWM or the cirque. The second erosional landform is the horn, and the third is the serrated ridges. The horn is also known as pyramidal peak. Serrated ridges are also known as arete. The fourth is your valleys. In the valleys, we will study what is a hanging valley and what is a U-shaped valley. So first, let's start with cirque. Have a look at what is a cirque. So cirque is basically something which appears like this. Okay, this is the example of cirque. Okay, this is the example of your cirque. Now let's understand. Okay, we've already understood this diagram. This diagram where there is zone of plucking. There is zone of plucking at the head wall and there is abrasion at the base. There is abrasion at the base. Now what happens is there is this plucking going on. Okay, which steepens the slope. This plucking steepens the slope. It steepens the slope, and this abrasion, okay, creates a depression. It creates a depression. So steepening the floor by the plucking and the deepening of the depression by the abrasion, okay, leads to a feature that is called as cirque, cirque. Okay, so here let's understand cirque. Okay, it is the most common landform in the glaciated mountains, found at the head of the glacial valleys. We've already seen the glacial valleys. So found at the head of the glacial valleys, the downward, this is downward movement. This is the downward movement of the glacier leads to intense shattering of the upslope. So here, if this is the glacier, if this is the glacier, if the glacier, this is the bedrock, this is the glacier. Okay, this is the glacier. Now, as the glacier is moving like this, as the glacier is moving like this, there is plucking. The individual pieces will be plucked. The individual pieces will be plucked here. There would be shattering of the upslope, shattering of the upslope. There will be abrasion here. There will be deepening of the depression, deepening of the depression. Okay, so what is happening? The downward movement of the glacier is leading to intense shattering of the upland slope, producing a depression. There is a depression which is being created because of the downward movement of the glacier. The glacier, the downward movement is leading to a depression. Okay, and plucking is operating on the back wall, while the movement of the ice abrades the abrades the floor, so leading to a depression. This depression is called as cori. This depression is called as cori. Okay, depression is called as cori. When the ice eventually melts, water is collected at the depression called as cori lake or tarn. So here the cori lake is formed when the ice melts, forming a lake. Let's again understand this process. The process that I am explaining here is about cori. What is a cori? Also known as CWM, also known as cirque. See this. This is a bedrock. This is the bedrock. Okay. Now this bedrock has ice, has a glacier, has a glacier. Now what happens is, as the glacier is moving, there is a plucking going on. Okay, it is plucking which is operating here, and it is abrasion which is operating here. The abrasion is it is operating here. Now what happens because of this? What happens because of this? There is steepening of the back wall, and there is a depression which is created at this place. Okay, this becomes the bedrock because of the abrasion and plucking. Now this is the movement of the glacier. This is again the movement. This is again the glacier. Now over the time the ice will melt. This depression is called as cori. Over the time the ice will melt, and there will be water which will be filled here. The water which will be filled here, this will be called as Tarn Lake, or it can be called as Cori Lake. Okay, so this is the first erosional landform that we are studying, and the erosional landform is because of the process of plucking and because of the process of the abrasion. Moving on. Here, let's understand the second landform. So this you can see, and this is what is the Tarn Lake. This is what is the Tarn Lake. Tarn Lake is formed when the glacial melts. A Tarn Lake will be formed here. Okay, then moving on. The second erosional landform that is called as the pyramidal peak or and associated with this arete and the serrated ridge. Now understand, if this is the mountain, okay, here there is a depression which is created, here there is a depression which is created, and here there is a depression which is created. As the glacier is moving, the glacier is moving from here, the glacier is moving from here, the glacier is moving from here. So there is a depression which is created at here, at here, at here. Don't you think this peak then will stand out? This peak will stand out in a nice manner. So if this wall is also being steepened, then what will happen is you will have a peak which will stand out. Let's understand the diagram here. So what is happening is if this is the mountain, okay, imagine it is being steepened from this side because of the abrasion. It is being steepened from this side because of the abrasion, and also from this side, which is the front side. This is the left, this is the right, and this is the front side. So here what will happen is you will have a peak which is standing out. Here this is the profile, here this is the profile. So this peak is standing out. Why? Because the abrasion has taken place on the front, the abrasion has taken place on the right side, and also on the left side. So this peak which stands out because of the erosion here, is called as pyramidal peak. Okay, and if I actually tell you to visualize this image, see this. There is a scooping out here. There has been a scooping out here. There has been a scooping out here also. See, this is the mountain. There has been a scooping out here. There has been a scooping out here. There has been a scooping out here. Now what is happening is, because of this, we are getting a horn-shaped peak. This is also known as horn. It is also known as pyramidal peak. Okay, this is a knife-like edge, seesaw, zigzag edge. So knife-like edge, or zigzag edge that is created. Okay, this is called as serrated ridge or arete. So why is it happening? Because of the erosion. So this can be visualized. So a horn can also be visualized, and a serrated edge can also be visualized. Now let's understand what is a arete and horn. Okay, so arete or horn that we have already seen. Okay, this arete is also known as serrated edge. Okay, so when two quarries, one quarry is cutting back this side, the other quarry is cutting back this side. So when two quarries cut back on the opposite side of the mountain, this is one side, this is the other side. On the opposite side of mountain, a knife edge ridge is created. Zigzag ridge is formed, that is called as arete or serrated ridge. Here you can visualize the arete or the serrated ridge. So here one quarry has operated, here the other quarry has operated, and you get a ridge. You get a high peak, some small peaks, which is knife-like. This is called as a serrated ridge. Moving on, what is a pyramidal peak? The pyramidal peak is when three or more are cut back together, their reception forms an angular horn or the pyramidal peak. Here, not only two quarries but three quarries are operating. One from the left, one from the left, one from the front, and the other from the right. So if there is erosion that goes on, you get a horn-shaped peak. You get the horn-shaped angular peak, which is called as pyramidal peak or the horn, and you can visualize it here. So imagine this. So here what is happening is one quarry operated here, the other quarry has operated here, and erosion, the other third one is here. So you are getting an angular peak, which is called as pyramidal peak, which is called as pyramidal peak. Moving on, moving on, understand the important other erosional landform. Important erosional landform is valley. Okay, there are two types of valley. One is the U-shaped valley and the other is the hanging valley. So what have we covered so far? We understood the erosional landform. First, we understood as the quarry, also known as CWM or cirque. The second we understood as horn. Why is horn formed? Because there are three quarries which are eroding and depression is created, and you have an angular peak, that is pyramidal peak or horn. The third is a serrated ridge. The knife-like projection between the two quarries is serrated ridge. A very important erosional landform that I'm now moving on is to this glacial valley or the glacial troughs. So the glacial valley or the glacial troughs, they are of two types. One is the hanging valley, the other is the U-shaped valley. Hanging valley and the U-shaped valley. So first let's understand the U-shaped valley. What is a U-shaped valley? So if we look at the U-shaped valley, okay, this is how a glacier would look like. This is how a glaciated landscape would look like. So we have seen the pyramidal peak, we have seen the arete, also known as the serrated ridge. This is one quarry operating, this is the other quarry operating. This depression you can see is a quarry. This depression is called as quarry. When the ice melts, you have the lake called as the Tarn Lake or the Quarry Lake. So this is the Tarn Lake or the Quarry Lake, right? Then what happens is, this is the highland, this is the mountain, this is the mountain, this is the mountain. I would color the mountain in brown so that you understand it in a better manner. So I'm coloring the mountains with this red. This is the red part that I'm showing you is the mountainous landscape, is the mountainous landscape, the mountainous landscape. Okay, this is the mountainous landscape. Okay, you can see the arete here and the other ways. Now imagine this is the mountainous landscape, entire mountainous landscape full of ice. Here it is ice, 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 everywhere it is ice. Now how will that look like? That will look like this. Okay, that will look like this. Can you see the mountainous landscape with full of ice? This is the mountainous landscape which is full of ice. The mountainous landscape which is full of ice. Now what is happening? From here you are getting ice, 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 from here you are getting ice. Okay, so this is the mountainous landscape full of ice. Now as the glacier moves, this is one glacier which is moving. This is one glacier which is moving. This is the other glacier which is moving. This is the third glacier which is moving. The fourth glacier, fifth glacier, sixth glacier, seventh glacier, glaciers and glaciers which are moving. Now as the glaciers are moving, the movement is slow. The movement is slow, 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 slow. At one place, all these glaciers, the ice, they meet. Okay, so what happens is, as the glacier is moving, it is eroding this. It is also eroding this. This glacier is also eroding this part, this part, this part, this part. Each glacier is eroding this part. Each glacier is eroding its own part. Okay, as the glacier is eroding its own path. Now, when all the glacier meets here, when all the glacier meets, because of the sheer weight, this bottom floor is eroded too much. This bottom floor is eroded too much. And can you see a U-shaped valley is being created? A U-shaped valley is being created. So this glacier is eroding this part, this glacier is eroding this part, this is eroding this part, eroding, 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 eroding. At this place where the glacier is moving, the entire bedrock is being eroded, called as U-shaped valley. Imagine this part, glacier, 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 glacier. G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G6, G7. As they are moving, they are eroding this part. Okay. They are eroding this part. The entire this part is eroding this part. This glacier is eroding this part. This glacier is eroding this part. This is eroding this part. Now, when all the glacial combines together, which is being combined here, they will further erode the bedrock. The bedrock will be more eroded because of the weight, and you will get a U-shaped valley. You will get a U-shaped valley, which is called as the U-shaped valley or the U-shaped trough. Now let's first understand how is U-shaped valley formed. Now what happens is a glacier, when it is on the downward journey, it is on the downward journey which is fed by several ice, from several corries. So there is ice which is coming from several corries, like the tributaries of the river. Okay, the tributaries that join a river. It's like if this is the main river, there is one tributary, there is other tributary, third tributary, fourth tributary, fifth tributary. Similarly, that happens with the glacier also. This is the main glacier. We have one glacier, two glacier, three glacier, four glacier, five glacier, six glacier. Now, when the glacier is moving out on its downward journey, it is fed by ice from several corries, like tributaries that join a river. They begin to wear the side as well as the floor of the valley down. So they will erode the side as well as floor of the valley down, and they straighten any protruding spur on its course, and interlock spurs are blunted to form the truncated spur. Now what is this truncated spur? What are the protruding spur? We will understand. The U-shaped valley is formed because of this processes. After the disappearance of the ice, there is a lake which is formed, and the glacial valley, at the glacial valley's trough, there is a lake which is formed, which is called as the Ribbon Lake. So what we have to understand? The U-shaped valley, we have to understand the glacial troughs, we have to understand the Ribbon Lake. So let's understand it once again by looking at the diagram here. Look at the diagram. Look at the diagram. Look at this mountain. Look at the glaciers. So this is the typical feature. This is one glacier, two glacier, three glacier. This is GL1. This is glacier 1, glacier 1, glacier 2, glacier 3. This is the main glacier. Glacier 4, glacier 5, glacier 6 and glacier 7. So now this is the glacier. These are the glaciers. They are trying to erode the valley side. This is the side valley. This is the side of the valley, and they are also trying to erode the main floor. So they try to erode the side as well as they try to erode the floor. This is the side, this is the side. They try to erode the side and the floor. And now what will happen is they're eroding the side. But this glacier, as it is coming, this glacier which is coming, which is the main glacier, this main glacier is fed by the ice. It will be fed by this ice, this ice, fed by this ice and this ice. Now what will happen? Do you think because they would be fed by various ice, there will be more weight to this main glacier G? Because this main glacier G will have more weight, it will erode this portion more. It will erode this portion more, and rather than this portion, so this A portion will be eroded more. This A portion will be eroded more as compared to B and C. So this A portion will have U-shaped depression, and this will be a valley side. That's what it is being shown here. This is the U-shaped valley. This is the U-shaped valley that has been eroded. And this is the valley side. This is the valley side. This is the valley side. Okay, this is the valley floor. Valley floor. And these were the glaciers. These were glaciers one. This was a glacier here, glacier here, glacier here, glacier here, glacier here and here. But now the glaciers have melted. Now the glaciers have melted, but you can see a U-shaped depression. We can see a U-shaped depression that is being created. Now there is a GIF which shows this process. Have a look at that GIF. Here, look at this. Again, see. Now what is happening? I will explain the GIF. This is the starting. This is the glacier. This is the glacier. These are small glacier. This is the main glacier. Now this main glacier, the main glacier was combined with ice from all these places. Combined with the ice from all these places. So it eroded the valley floor more. It eroded the valley floor more. You can see that? Yes, this is the starting point. There is full glacier. It is eroding the valley floor more because it is combined by the ice from the tributaries. Then there is a U-shaped valley that is being formed. Now the place where this glacier is cutting. This is cutting the valley slide. Okay, this portion is called as truncated spur. Spur is at the foot. Now this ice, this glacier when it was meeting the main glacier, main glacier, it cut a very steep face. That steep face that it has cut is called as truncated spur. This glacier was coming. It was meeting the main glacier. And it has led to a huge depression. Here. So this edge is called as truncated spur. This edge is called as the truncated spur. And you can see this one. Can you see this? This is the main glacier. This is the main glacier. This is the main glacier. MG, main glacier. Now this is the side glacier. This slide glacier is trying to meet this main glacier. That can be seen. It is trying to meet this main glacier. As it is meeting, it is cutting this depression. Creating a depression. This depression will lead to this type of landform which is called as truncated spur. Now again the GIF, you can see that. Now how it is eroding. This glacier, how it is eroding. Here. And now once again, this is the main landscape. There is ice. There is more erosion. Of the valley. This is forming a U-shaped valley. It is forming a truncated spur. It is forming a U-shaped valley. It is forming a truncated spur. U-shaped valley and a truncated spur. Now what happened over the time? The glacier melts. You can see the glacier melting. The glacier will melt. Okay. Once the glacier melts, there will be full of water, it will become full of water. Now the glacier is melting. This is the glacier melting. The glacier has melted and now it will have water. It will have water. The glacier comes, the glacier meets, the glacier erodes the valley. The glacier erodes the valley, the glacier melts, it has water, and this water, this lake, this water and this lake is called as Ribbon Lake. This lake is called as Ribbon Lake and it receives water from this tributary, this tributary, this tributary and the other tributaries. So this is called as Ribbon Lake and you can see the Ribbon Lake here as well. This is the Ribbon Lake and the rivers, they meet the Ribbon Lake. So what we have understood for now is this is the truncated spur. Can you see the depression? Can you see the depression here? Can you see this depression, this depression, this depression? This depression is called as truncated spur. This depression is called as truncated spur. Why is it formed? It is formed because the tributary valley has eroded, when it was joining the main valley, when it was joining the main glacier valley, it has eroded this part. Okay, this is truncated spur, truncated spur. This is your tarn. This is the pyramidal peak. Okay, this is the U-shaped valley. Okay, U-shaped valley. Now, we've understood what is a pyramidal peak, what is an arete, what is a pyramidal peak, what is a arete, what is a kori, what is a tarn lake, what is a truncated spur, what is the truncated spur, how do we get the waterfall? We get the waterfall because the glacier has melted and this one, the river will form waterfall. Waterfall, when many of the rivers which form waterfall is called as tarn lake. Understand, the ablation or the evaporation of the glacier took place in the reverse manner. It was this place which got, the glacier melted here first and then the glacier melted in the highlands. So here, from here the glacier starts melting. The melting of the glacier is also called as ablation. Ablation. Okay, just keep this in mind, ablation. Okay, now a very important thing that you need to understand is the concept of hanging valley. What does hanging valley mean? Okay, what does the name suggest? The name suggests that a valley which is hanging. A valley which is hanging. Now if I tell you a quiz, now tell me where do you think will the hanging valley be? Obviously here, this is the place where the valley is hanging. Obviously here, where the place where the valley is hanging. Here the valley is hanging. Here where the valley is hanging. Here where the valley is hanging. Here where the valley is hanging. So this valley which is hanging, this is a hanging valley. Why it is hanging? Because it is hanging above the main valley. This is the main valley and it is hanging above the main valley. So this hanging valley is what? Understood? Understand? This is a hanging valley. So here, this was the main valley. This is the main U-shaped valley. This is the main U-shaped valley, right? The U-shaped valley, why is it formed? We have already seen. And this is the hanging valley. This one, which is hanging. Which valley? Which is hanging above the main valley. This is the main glacier. Can you see? This is the main glacier. Okay. The valley which is hanging above the main valley is called as the hanging valley. And if you want to visualize the hanging valley here, the hanging valley will be this one. This is the glacier eroding the main valley, Okay, so this is the truncated spur. This portion is the truncated spur, and this is a valley. This is the valley. This valley is called as hanging valley. This is called as main valley. You can here see also. This is the truncated spur. This valley is called as the hanging valley. It is called as the hanging valley. So this is the spur. But this depression, this depression is called as hanging valley. Why it is called as hanging? Because it is hanging above the main valley. This is the main valley. It is hanging above the main valley, hanging above. So this is called as hanging above, therefore hanging valley. So what is a hanging valley? Here also you can see this is the hanging valley. This is the main valley, this is the hanging valley. And if you have to read something about hanging valley, you can read this. The hanging valley, the main valley is eroded much more rapidly. We know why is main valley eroded much more rapidly, because the tributary valleys do not have as much ice, whereas the main valley has lot of ice. So they are eroded more rapidly because more ice. Because of the more ice, they are eroded more rapidly than the tributary valleys. We know what are the tributaries valley, what is the main valley. After the ice has melted, a tributary valley therefore hangs above. It hangs above the main valley. So the stream plunges as waterfall. Such tributary valleys are termed as hanging valley. Such tributary valleys, they are termed as hanging valleys. So these are the erosional landforms formed by the glacier. We studied what is erosion, how does the glacier move, how does the erosion operate, the plucking and the aberration, and because of the process of erosion, how does the erosional landform formed. I hope you like this video. For more such video, stay tuned. Bye-bye.